Friday, Disney announced that they are going to re-theme Splash Mountain to Princess and the Frog. And in this episode of Fresh Baked, I want to talk about that. We're going to look at the concept art, we're going to look at the existing ride, and we're going to try to imagine what this attraction and the rest of Critter Country might look like when this project is completed. Along the way, we'll talk about the Imagineers who are in charge of this project, and also talk a bit about some of the commentary that is happening around this decision that Disney has made. But for now, let's start with that concept art and see what we might be able to learn from it. Now, as I've said in the past with respect to concept art, I am of the opinion that details matter when looking at these kind of things. I believe that they are trying to tell us something about what we might expect from this attraction. So when they show us something in the concept art, I believe we should expect to see it in the finished product. And of course, in this concept art, the first thing that our eyes are drawn to is Mama Odie's place stuck in that tree. This will clearly be the location of the signature drop. So instead of the mountain peak that we're familiar with Splash Mountain, it's going to be the base of the tree. And that's it. That's the change, basically. I otherwise don't believe that there's going to be any other fundamental changes to the ride as we know it. I mean, obviously, there will be a new skin and new costumes for the animatronics. Maybe frogs instead of foxes, who knows? But I wouldn't expect any other major technical changes like screens or any other noticeable fundamental changes to the ride's physical operation. Maybe not even new animatronics. I do expect for them to recycle most, if not all, of the animatronics that are already in the attraction. Now, aside from Mama Odie's tree, let's go look at the concept art and see what else we can find. Notice that most of the physical landmarks we can spot are just as they are today. A few things to observe. You can spot the familiar thorny briar right here in the concept art, just as it is on Splash Mountain today. There's the fencing, same barn, even that outcropping of rock and soil. What I'm getting at is that these are indicators that there isn't going to be a lot of change. They're going to incorporate as much as possible of the old ride into the new one. They're taking the already high quality bones of a beautifully designed attraction and they're going to repurpose it just as it is. The only thing that I really might expect, and you can kind of see this in the concept art a little bit, is perhaps a change in the color palette. Instead of oranges and greens, as you see on Splash Mountain today, you're going to see probably more deeper colors, darker blues, purples, that kind of thing. And of course, this would be done to give it more of that, I don't know, whenever we see the bayou depicted in film, it's often dark and a little bit more ominous, I guess. I'm not that sure if that's the right word, but it's certainly less bright and cheery like Splash Mountain is today. Other than that, not much more to see here in the concept art. You've got Tiana in her formal outfit along with King Louie, so naturally that is how we should expect to see them. Now, it's been said by Disney that the story is supposedly going to take place post-Kiss, and that's the end of the film, so this will be sort of an extension of the story that we know from the film. And by the way, I agree with this decision in so much as I'm not a big fan of the book report style dark rides where they just basically retell the story in a dark ride. I prefer them to take some license anyway, to extend the story a little bit at least. So that I'm glad that they chose to do that. So that does mean we're going to see Princess Tiana and Prince Naveen, for that matter, in their human form post-Kiss. As such, one thing that I don't expect to see will probably be any actual frogs. And on a humorous note, that's kind of got Liz a little bit crazy. She is demanding frogs in this attraction, going so far as to say that the film isn't called Princess and the Other Human Prince. It's called Princess and the Frog. Fair point, I guess. We'll keep you up to date on Liz's condition to see if she calms down a bit after hearing that news. Anyway, as for King Louie, I do have one prediction on where we might find him in the attraction. I believe we're going to find him right here at the beginning of the dark ride portion where we would today find Brer Bear. It's the most logical place, as all the space that you need for a larger animatronic is already there. I do also expect to see quite a few fireflies as depicted in this concept art, though we'll probably only see them at night, which, by the way, makes this attraction a must-see, in my opinion. Splash Mountain wasn't a big deal at night. Actually, people stopped going at night, unless it was super hot out. But with this theme, it's going to be the exact opposite. It's going to be the place to be at night because of all the lighting effects, which naturally I'm a sucker for to begin with. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how beautiful this attraction can look lit up with those fireflies. One other detail to observe before we move on, you can see some fireworks and Mardi Gras decor in that lower corner of the graphic or the concept art. So I expect to see these feature in the dark ride portion somewhere. And as we do enter the dark ride section, I don't expect this to be much different. I mean, obviously, the dialogue and the music that you hear will change, but I'd expect most of the animatronics to remain, just with the new costume. And then the final scene here with the Paddlewheeler is a perfect fit for Princess and the Frog. In fact, this is one of those scenes that clinches the concept for me. In fact, it makes me wonder why they haven't done this already. Why did it take this long to put Princess and the Frog in this attraction? It's one of the reasons. By the way, I'm predicting Dig a Little Deeper as the final climactic music here, just like they do at Mickey and the Magical Map. Which, by the way, brings me to Zippity Doo Dah, the song that we all associate so closely with Splash Mountain. A lot of people have asked, do you think that they'll get rid of that song? And I think that the plainest and clearest and simplest answer that I can give you is definitely yes. You will no longer hear that song anywhere in or around Splash Mountain or Princess and the Frog. Now, I'm not saying that because I know anything for sure. I'm saying that because it is part of the same source content, Song of the South, that is problematic for the attraction to begin with. So it really wouldn't make any sense, even if you were to put it in Critter Country, not in the attraction, in the Princess and the Frog attraction, but somewhere else in Critter Country. No, you're not going to hear it anywhere. That song is not to be heard again at Disneyland once this ride opens. Okay, and then one final note on the theming part of this conversation, that is that I think that we're in some very good hands here. The project is being led by Trita Carter, who just got done leading the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway project at Hollywood Studios, and it is coming also to Disneyland. And it, in my opinion, looks like it has one of the more fresher, more innovative design concepts for a traditional dark ride. She's also been leading the new-ish Scenic Illusions initiative, which basically is trying to find new ways to present magic illusions to guests using modern technology, which certainly Runaway Railway is. And on that note, I think it's possible that maybe we should expect something like that in Princess and the Frog attraction, where before I said maybe don't expect any screens, knowing that she has that's sort of her background, maybe we could find some understated tech added to the attraction, much the same way that they kind of added a few nuances to Alice in Wonderland or Peter Pan. Meanwhile, when somebody first asked me about this conversation as it was happening before Disney made their announcement, while it was just a Twitter conversation, my first reaction was that I could go either way, that I was fine with it staying, I was fine with them doing the remodel, but the only thing that I asked is that if they did do a retheme, that they involved Tony Baxter. This was his design. He was the lead Imagineer on Splash Mountain, and I really felt like it was important to make sure that he was connected. Now, I didn't actually think that was going to happen, considering, as I understand it, Disney and Tony Baxter aren't exactly on the best terms, but he is, in fact, going to be involved in this project. Now, he's being tabbed as a creative advisor, which essentially is just, they're going to run stuff by him, at least this is the way I interpret that title. They're going to run stuff by him and let him give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, kind of like the way they do with George Lucas today with Star Wars. It may or may not be he gets his way, but they want to at least hear from him with respect to whatever changes they might make. So that's good. I mean, it's better than I could have asked for. I thought they were going to involve him at all. Okay, so what about the rest of Critter Country? Obviously, Princess and the Frog as an attraction would be subsumed by New Orleans Square. The attraction does take place in New Orleans, so it's a natural. It doesn't belong in Critter Country anymore. It's now part of New Orleans Square, which leaves Critter Country with just a single attraction. Winnie the Pooh, a restaurant, and a gift shop. I mean, and maybe you might include Davy Crockett, although to my thinking, I don't really associate Davy Crockett with Critter Country. It's more of a sort of unofficial Rivers of America land. In my own mind, Mark Twain, Columbia, Tom Sawyer's Island, Davy Crockett canoes. Those are all Rivers of America land in my own private canon. So yeah, not exactly a complete land, small by any standard. It was already small, but now made even smaller. So can we continue with Critter Country being the way it is, being so small? Is it still technically a land? Probably not. So let's talk about what the alternatives are. You could extend the Bayou theme to the rest of Critter Country, which means you got to do some things with what exists. For example, Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I don't think you can make another Princess and the Frog attraction. 2 attractions for Princess and the Frog doesn't make sense. Bringing in another element, another kind of attraction is possible. Another theme, I should say, for a dark ride. But I think more likely you might use that space, instead of as a dark ride, you use it as a Princess Tiana and Naveen meet and greet. And that could be beautifully done if you incorporate the Bayou theme into this. Meanwhile, over at Hungry Bear, Tiana's Place, obviously, that's a restaurant that exists in Princess and the Frog. My only concern there is that the theming of Princess Tiana's Place, or Tiana's Place in the film, doesn't agree with how Hungry Bear is currently themed. So, it's very Critter-esque, as it were, Hungry Bear is. So I would expect if they were going to try to do that, they would have to basically rip the whole thing apart and start over, or at least do a very serious refurb on that space. And I, for one, don't think that Disney would be into doing that, to be honest. A Hungry Bear, as a place and as a scene, is iconic. As much as, Splash Mountain is, or more so even. It's been around longer. Hasn't it? I don't know, but it feels like it has. I remember going there as a very young man, so it would bother me more if they completely gutted Hungry Bear and turned it into something else than a remodel of Splash Mountain. So if you want to maintain the look and feel of Hungry Bear, but give it a Bayou feel, it's not going to be Tiana's Place. So I don't know what it would be. I just don't think it would be Tiana's Place. Now, if you don't want to go and push the Bayou or New Orleans theme further into Critter Country, what about bringing Galaxy's Edge over, which it also borders? That does seem to make sense, but the problem that you have here is the Disneyland Railroad. Right now, the Disneyland Railroad is invisible to guests in Galaxy's Edge, but if you bring Galaxy's Edge towards the Splash Mountain and consume some of that area there, the train is visible, and now that's a thematic disaster. The Disneyland Railroad does not belong visibly in Galaxy's Edge. Not to mention, I think you get into some difficulty with now blurring that line between Galaxy's Edge and New Orleans Square. They do a pretty good job of it already with Critter Country and Galaxy's Edge. Galaxy's Edge is a very rustic, woodsy theme to begin with, at least that part of it. They've done a great job there, so they could probably figure that out. I just think it's more difficult to do that. And thirdly, there is the idea that you could do nothing at all. Leave Critter Country just as it is, and that's actually exactly what I think Disneyland will do, at least for the short term. And by short term, I mean at least the next 10 years or so, probably longer. It'll be that long or more before we see them do anything like, push New Orleans Square theming or the Bayou theme into the rest of Critter Country. They'd have to have some really great ideas before they get into that. And I think that section of the park can still exist just as it is next to Splash Mountain or Princess and the Frog. And really, when I think about that too, when I think about them trying to bring in New Orleans Square into Critter Country, I start to get a little, I don't know, it makes me sad a little bit to think of Winnie the Pooh no longer existing, because that's what would happen if you were to extend the New Orleans theme into Critter Country. Can you imagine never seeing Winnie the Pooh or his friends in the 100-acre woods? I can't, personally. I just can't right now. I don't want them to be extinct. I love Winnie the Pooh as a character meet and greet. I love the 100-acre wood. I love the Pooh Sticks Bridge and the Pooh Sticks River. I think all of that is beautifully done. It's one of my favorite little corners of the park. And so I kind of hope that they do keep Critter Country there, even if it's just a tiny little sliver of a land. I do think that it's worth keeping in that place. And like I said, if they did decide to do something, it's going to be a very long time before that ever comes to be, and it's going to have to be a really good idea. All right, finally, let's talk a little bit about a little commentary, as where my opinions, my thoughts on this decision on retheming Splash Mountain. As I mentioned previously, I didn't really have an opinion either way. I was fine. I was right in the middle, whether they did or whether they didn't. Like many, I find Splash Mountain to be a beautifully designed ride. honestly one of the best that they've ever done. So it wouldn't have bothered me one bit if they had left it in place. I also think that Princess and the Frog works at this site in so many ways. In fact, in ways that may actually be superior to Splash Mountain. But more importantly, theming aside, I think that this is something that maybe did need to happen. Now, I will say that Splash Mountain never bothered me personally with respect to its problematic source material. I can't say that I'm among those who weren't aware of its history, as some have said. I most definitely am and was for a long time aware of its history with Song of the South. And with that, something that I've learned in the past few months can probably best be summed up in this statement, and that is just because I'm not personally affected by the theme of Splash Mountain and its history with Song of the South doesn't mean that others aren't or that they shouldn't be. My experience is completely different than your experience. And we could probably all try to remember that a little bit more as we process this kind of change. Just because I'm not offended doesn't mean you can't be. And really, being offended isn't or shouldn't be the benchmark. As a matter of fact, there aren't even levels. Like, this isn't as offensive as some other thing in the park might be or considered be by others. Sometimes, like in this case, the benchmark, I feel, should be just doing the right thing and being respectful. There is nothing wrong with you, me, Disney, or anybody else simply wanting to do the right thing, to do the respectful thing. Also, if you're worried that Splash Mountain might lose some of whatever it is that makes you love Splash Mountain, understand that it's very likely, very possible that Princess and the Frog could do the exact same thing. They can also bring elements that make you love it. You can love Splash Mountain. I love Splash Mountain. And you can love Princess and the Frog. It's not a zero-sum game. They can both be great. And that reminds me of something that I have to often remind myself, because I'm with you. I do not like change very much, especially at Disneyland. I very much would be happy if things just stayed the way they were for all time. But I have to constantly remind myself of this one thing, and that is one of my favorite attractions at Disneyland is Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And Big Thunder Mountain replaced the mine train through Nature's Wonderland, which many consider to be a legendary attraction. In fact, it's the kind of attraction that very closely resembles or defines, very much so, defines the opening era of Disneyland. It is Disneyland for some. But there it is. Big Thunder Mountain exists today. Nobody talks about it with respect to, being remorseful that the mine train through Nature's Wonderland isn't there. Don't get me wrong. I would love to have had a chance to ride that attraction. But I'm not upset that it's not there and Big Thunder is. And why is that? Well, because for one, it was a long time ago and we've all gotten over it. But more importantly, Big Thunder Mountain is a fantastic ride. It's an expertly designed ride, something that I very much enjoy and am very pleased to have in my life, in my Disneyland life. And it wouldn't be possible unless somebody made that decision to change it. So that's what I think about. I love Splash Mountain. I think it's a wonderful, beautiful attraction, but I am very much looking forward to seeing what they can do with Princess and the Frog. And I think, as I mentioned, we're in pretty good hands. When Disney really does try hard, they can do great things. And I expect also that the bones of the attraction will remain, so you won't be missing too much. And who knows, possibly it could even be better. And with that, Fresh Baked, we conclude this report on the Splash Mountain retheme. I would love to hear what changes you think you might like to see in the retheme. What's on your wish list of things that they could do for this attraction? Also, what do you think they should call it? Because, like I said, there's maybe not going to be any frogs. I don't know. I would love to hear your thoughts on what they want to call this attraction. Let us know in the comments below. And until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell. And until we see you again, please remember to be kind to one another and have some love in your heart for your fellow man. I love you guys very much, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!